not the boss of me.
No.
I constantly remind you that you're not the boss.
I'm not that with you, Barry.
And at this point, it's just plain unacceptable.
I'm just saying, that fat head of yours looks pretty good, considering we fired a can of fruit punch right through it in that last episode.
I was hoping I just wouldn't wake up. It's not like I can afford health insurance. Had to patch myself up with carpet glue and sketch tape.
Yeah, you're, really getting the hang of it.
Yeah, let's just jump right into it. During production of the Ewok movie, George Lucas was inspired by a then 11-year-old Warwick Davis to create Willow, an epic high fantasy that definitely doesn't steal from other epic fantasies. But Georgie George also decided that filmmaking technology hadn't quite caught up to his grand vision of Willow. Yeah, so he waited a long-ass time before recruiting Bob Dolman to write the script and the legendary Ron Howard to direct. Lucas was hoping Willow would dominate the box office like his buddy Steve's movie E.T.
Yo, Barry, I think Ellis is drinking on the job again. That's not even the E.T. movie. It's an Atari game so bad it helped sink the entire industry, and they had to bury the unsold copies out in Alamogordo.
Yeah, the E.T. game wasn't that bad.
Barry, don't act like you had an Atari. Your family was too poor.
But my neighbor, Keith, had one. Used to break into his house to play it while he was away at summer camp.
And psycho. Bet you tried on his clothes, too.
Now, it's worth remembering that the late 80s were an entirely different landscape in terms of filmmaking and profitability. Believe it or not, you mindless peasants, original high fantasy projects were about as fashionable as shaving your bush. This was way before the heavyweight version of Peter Jackson won you nerds over with his take on Rivendell and Lothlorien and all that shit. And thanks to box office duds like Legend, Krull, Dragon Slayer, and Labyrinth, no studio wanted to produce fantasy. Why the hell haven't we reviewed Labyrinth?
Because the guy who edits these videos is a man, baby, who's deathly afraid of puppets.
So this is all Ellis's fault. All right, folks, drop us a comment if you think Ellis should grow the hell up and let us review Jim Henson's Labyrinth. While you're at it, maybe you can tell him to stop complaining that this channel enables a bunch of debilitating dependencies in him. It's not our fault you can't handle your liquor, Ellis. It's high time you accepted responsibility for your own actions.
Yeah, Ellis. Selfish. In this house, we pay respect to David Bowie.
Hey, Fly, I bet you're a big fan of Val Kilmer in the role of Mad Mardigan.
I'm a fan. He's perfect for the role, and I dig that name, Mad Mardigan.
That's one of the reasons I love fantasy movies. Everybody's got a cool name. But just imagine what the movie would have looked like if the role of Mad Marty had gone to John Cusack, who is allegedly still disappointed to this day that he lost the part to Kilmer. Anyway, if you're old and washed like the rest of us here at Bankrupt Barry, you probably also remember that Willow features a groundbreaking digital morphing technique that was used for the character Finray's Razzle. The names in these fantasy movies are all stupid. But similar effects by ILM were later used in a high-profile Michael Jackson video that you might have seen back when you still had all your teeth. Allegedly, this made it easier to sneak up on unsuspecting children. Yeah, there are conflicting theories about that. And apparently, the on-screen chemistry between Mad Mardigan and Sorsha bled into real life because Val Kilmer and Joanne Whalley got married in real life after filming wrapped up.
Yo, that's sweet. Just like Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise.
Yeah, right down to the bitter divorce. Now let's talk plot. The inciting incident here takes place off-screen when Queen Badmorva decides to imprison all the sinful pregos in the entire kingdom because a prophecy has decreed that a special baby will lead to her downfall.
So, is this movie doing some kind of allegory about abortion?
Hey, asshole! We're not here for that. We're here to provide a mild, narcotic-like form of escapism. Just cut that part out, Ellis. Thank you. Okay, so like any halfway decent villain, Bav Mormon needs an intimidating henchman, and in this case we get the character Skeletor, Kale, whom George Lucas named after Pauline Kael, a critic from The New Yorker who gave the original Star Wars a somewhat frosty review.
General Kael at last.
My queen, I have destroyed the castle at Galadorn.
Well done.
Kael is played by the always formidable Pat Roach, whom you might remember from other movies that George Lucas was involved with.
Bro, you kidding me? We get Randy Bobandy in this movie?
No, it's not Canadian Pat Roach, dipshit. This is British Pat Roach. He was into martial arts and wrestling. And his helmet is cool as shit. Bat Martha's also got a daughter, Sorsha, who may or may not be the pure incarnation of Satan.
Find out. I don't need his help, Mother.
You'll do as I say, child.
Gee, I wonder if there's any chance that Sorsha will turn against her mother, the wicked villain.
Now, in order to unpack the plot of this movie, it's helpful to frame it against Joseph Campbell's model of the hero's journey. A set of storytelling conventions that undergirds most of your favorite hero stories, including Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Aliens, The Matrix, Lion King, Hunger Games, and even Harry Potter. According to Campbell's theory, in order to embark on his adventure, Willow will first have to depart his ordinary world of the Shire, I mean the village, of people who are definitely not hobbits because they've got some kind of dumb name, the Nelwinians or whatever. And the catalyst for Willow's exodus comes down to the arrival of this baby, who'll turn out to be Special Hero Baby, the baby from the prophecy. Unlike Willow here, this baby is a daikini, but that's not a slur. I know it sounds like one, but it's just like saying Dunedain or whatever from the Smeagol movies. And that brings us to our first point of friction in this movie. High fantasy racism.
Let's give it back to them. They'll kill her, you can't. It isn't one of us.
Damn, that's pretty harsh. I think these Nelwyn need to be a little more open-minded.
Yeah, well, hold on to your tiny nuts there, Flybag. It only gets worse. Initially, like most heroes, Willow tries to refuse the call to adventure. His main desire is to quit his job as a farmer to become a homeless street performer.
Watch very closely. Whoopity ban, daroo, daroo.
But apparently he hails from the Joe Bluth School of Illusion.
No! Okay, come here, you!
And then, out of nowhere, these death doggies attack.
Hey, why does this one guy just assume that the dogs were trying to find the baby?
He was looking for somebody's baby.
I mean, if a bunch of dogs attack a village at random, it makes sense that they would go for the easiest source of food. An infant is an easy target. It doesn't have to be part of some orchestrated plan.
Yeah, but I think Bad Marta's the only character in the kingdom who possesses death dogs.
Still, why does Bab Morta send like half a dozen dogs to take care of a task so important? If she thinks this baby is a legitimate threat to her authority, why not march Kale and an entire army into the village to make sure the deed gets done?
Well, Jesus bean flickin' Christ, I guess it's a good thing for the world that your lifespan is less than a month, Lord Hannibal.
Barry, you live off dollar store energy drinks, cigarette butts, and Hot Pockets. I'm gonna outlive you by decades, you f***ing slob.
Yeah. But Willow does end up answering the call to adventure. The Council of Elrond determines that Willow has to take the baby past the mines of Moria and into a world of supernatural dangers and thresholds. Anyway, just to remind us all that Willow follows the plot structure of Joseph Campbell's monomyth, Billy Barty here, whom you might remember from movies like Legend and He-Man, arms Willow with an amulet in the form of some very powerful eldritch weapons.
Bro, they're f***ing acorns.
Wrong! They are magical and they are cool.
Anything you throw them at turns to stone.
Yeah, well, they're f***ing worthless as far as amulets go. Willow fails every time he tries to use them. And what's the deal with High Aldwin giving Willow 3 acorns in this scene? I watched closely. Willow only tries to use them twice throughout the movie.
Yeah, well, there's a deleted scene where Bav Martis summons a storm to kill Willow, and he turns a fish kid to stone. What do you want?
So somehow you can remember all that trivial bullshit, but you can't remember to put on pants while we're filming.
And now that they've got their stupid-ass acorns, Willow and company can deliver Special White Hero Baby to a Daikini crossroads, where we meet Mad Mardigan, who's been placed in solitary confinement for being racist.
Give me some water, Peck, or you die.
Well, maybe it's like The Departed. There's 1 or 2 slurs that come up, and that's it.
Peck? Peck. There's a peck here with an acorn pointed at me!
Jesus, Ron Howard directed this? You sure it wasn't Tarantino?
I don't need help from a peck.
And just when things are looking bleak, here comes our old pal, Jake Busey, who plays Eric. Irk. Anyway, A-Rod here gives us a scoop on Mad Marty.
Mad Mardigan! What'd you do this time?
Nothing you wouldn't have done in my place.
I always knew you'd end up in a crow's cage.
No, it's not Jake Busey, you rectal wart. That's Gavin O'Herlihy. He's an Irish actor.
And then Willow's boss here, Burger Cut. That's the stupidest name yet. Yeah, Burger Cut needs to get back home to drop a killer deucer. So they set free the racist guy who goes by the name Mad Mardigan. They entrust him with the enchanted baby, and everything goes to plan.
There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah! I stole the baby!
The hero's journey presses onward, and for his efforts to hunt down the Lilliputians, Willow gets all trussed up like David Carradine. And it turns out we have yet another proportion of human being to reckon with. But if you thought these brownie guys would be a little more accepting of other races, you'd be wrong.
Out where did you get that baby?
I stole it from a stupid daikini.
Only a great sorcerer can use it, not a stupid peck like you.
Next, we head over to the Prancing Pony, where Wilbo Baggins experiences more fantasy world racism.
Get out of here, peck!
Get out of here, I cook you!
Meanwhile, Kevin Pollak tries to get Me Too'd by a cat.
I have to kiss you.
But I tell you what, Fly, don't you miss the good old days of cinema back in the 80s? Back when men were men. We had good, strong men like Val Kilmer, and they were true men. True, mannish men. Not like today. Hey, asswipe.
True men.
Yeah, true men. Say it right or they're not gonna pay. Hey, Fly.
True men. But Val Kilmer does have a nice rack.
But these were true men, not like today.
No, not like today.
Yeah, not like today. Brr, did we mention that a lot of this movie was shot in New Zealand? You know, just in case you didn't notice how much this thing borrows from Lord of the Rings.
Barry, your brain is mostly pie filling at this point. Bro, Willow came out like 13 years before any Lord of the Rings stuff. So if anything, you could say...
Yeah, I understand how years work. I'm just saying there are some suspicious similarities. Next, we get to check another character off the list. This time it's Finn Razzle. Well, she's a powerful sorceress, though you might not guess that from looking at her. Listen, folks, Ron Bryce Dallas Howard decided it was too expensive to fly Patricia Hayes all the way to New Zealand, so her part got played by this aardvark. And maybe I'm alone on this, but that annoying voice of hers really makes me want to slam my dick in the door of a bank vault.
Who are you? Who are you?
Anyway, Willow and company get captured by Sorsha and her toxic masculinity.
Lose your skirt?
They get frog marched high into the snowy mountains, where yet another bigoted outburst from the brownies leads to Mad Mardigan getting dosed with Molly.
You leave that alone, you stupid fat daikini! Ow!
Mad Marty wants desperately to hitch a ride to Burning Man, but he's all rotted up for Sorsha.
My moon, my starlit sky. Without you, I dwell in darkness.
Our next stop is Tier Ashleen, where the ass-wipe citizens can't be bothered to pick up after their dogs.
Apart, open your eyes, and the...
Captain Kale somehow tracks down our heroes and launches an attack. And to make matters worse, Willow uses magic to slay a troll. Which turns into a Phil Tippett stop-motion monstrosity. And because he's the king of subtlety, George Lucas named this creature Ebor Sisk, in reference to Siskel and Ebert, who'd been critical of his films in the past. If you ask me, the Ebor Sisk holds up a lot better than today's shitty-looking CGI.
Okay, hold on there, Fat Man Crothers. Save your anti-CGI boomer rant till the end. And are you sure this film doesn't take place in Vermont? I'm sorry to play diversity police, but is there a single brown person in this movie?
Yes. Before he was dropping sick burns in Bad Santa.
Cause you're an emotional f***ing cripple. Your soul is dog shit. Every single f***ing thing about you is ugly.
Tony Cox played a Nelwyn warrior in Willow, which I guess at least makes it more diverse than Ridley Scott's Legend. And at the same time, this movie marked the biggest casting call for little people to date, so there's that. Anyway, this battle scene ain't exactly Helm's Deep, but it really rocks my hammock.
Destroy the beast! Find the baby!
Take that!
Yeah, the battle is pretty sweet. And I like the idea of the trolls, but let's be honest, they look pretty low budge.
Well, I think they look pretty...
Ad break!
Time to get paid!
Yo, Barry, tuck in that goiter before we lose another sponsor.
Well, this one's gonna be a little different, folks. Today's episode is sponsored by me. Take a gander at Uncle Barry's new line of miracle supplements. I'm calling this one Barry's Blessing.
Bro, why the f*** would our viewers want to buy subs from your bankrupt ass? Your life expectancy is shorter than my dick. The other day I saw you pouring ketchup over a plate of spaghetti.
Each bottle contains your old pal Barry's proprietary blend of snakeweed, dried goat horn for sexual vigor, fescue extract, and ground up oysters for calcium. This detoxifying blend...
Well, what does that even mean, you fraud? Name me one toxin in the human body that this crap would actually remedy.
But it's got antioxidants and immunity boosting...
Ah, f*** off, Barry. Seriously? This is your retirement strategy?
Quiet, asswipe. I need the money, and it's for a good cause.
Barry, trying to raise bread money for your starving kids is a good cause. 2-for-1 lap dances at the Wiggly Room is not a good cause.
Well, sorry for being born, everyone. You know, I thought this channel was supposed to be sex positive, but apparently I'm wrong yet again. The promo code is SADBARRY. Now just go ahead and cut this whole segment out, Ellis. While you're at it, cut your hair, worthless hippie. Game on! Blech. So Mad Marty succeeds in winning over Sorsha once and for all. Unfortunately, the baby gets stolen by Kale even faster than the fly here stole our ad revenue so he could open up his stupid-ass nightclub.
Barry, I swear to God, if you don't stay on track, I'm gonna have Ellis post your OnlyFans subscriptions on Facebook.
So this takes us to Nockmaar Castle, which admittedly looks pretty badass.
I have the child!
And Mad Marty and Sorsha decide to be moronically direct with Balmoria.
You come for Laura Dannon.
You dare to challenge me? You're not warriors.
And she responds by turning them all into swine. Yes, that actually happens.
So let me get this straight. Bavmorda knows that Elora Danon could mean the end of her reign, and she also knows that somewhere out in the world is the powerful sorcerer Finn Rizal.
Make your point.
So instead of just killing everyone and the baby, she decides to cast some country-ass spell on them? Something that she knows a sorcerer like Finn Rizal could easily dispel.
Yeah, well, the pig thing is straight out of the Odyssey. But I agree with you that as far as sociopaths go, she's no Daniel Plainview.
I want no one else to succeed. I hate most people.
Hey, maybe we should review that one.
And once he's had enough pig play, Willow finally decides to change Finn Raz into her true form. Oh, yes. This movie's finally starting to deliver some tasteful nudes.
Now, Barry, try to settle down. Shouldn't you take your heart pills?
Oh, I threw out the heart pills, Fly. According to this YouTuber, my cholesterol score is just a number. And what I really need to do is incorporate more butter and bacon into my diet.
Yeah, but Barry, that guy's full of shit.
Okay now, folks. If you think this hot possum looks familiar, you're right. Patricia Hayes also played that rather fetching old lady in Neverending Story.
Come on, lazy bones. Can't you go any faster?
Now, the good guys here need to find a way to infiltrate Nockmaar Castle, and in order to do so, they'll need some of Willow's good old farmer logic.
Back home in my village, we have a lot of gophers.
Willow, this is war, not agriculture.
I know. But I have an idea how to get inside the castle.
Frodo and Finn decide to give Bad Manda an out.
We are all powerful sorcerers. Give us the baby, or we'll destroy you.
But there's a sting in the tail.
What? How does this shit work? It would take hours to dig out those gopher holes. You telling me that at no point during the night did Bav Morva's night watchman notice that there was a major excavation underway?
Hey, jackass, this ain't cinema sins. Our job is to remain playfully critical while still allowing viewers to mainline nostalgia straight into their addled brains. Now lay off the plot holes.
Okay, so we get another pretty badass battle scene. Mad Mardigan takes on the menacing Kale in a classic battle of steel.
Meanwhile, Willow has to fight a f***ing ashtray with legs. Seriously, you couldn't at least give him a death dog to fight?
The Nockmar Tower features one of the most geriatric sorcery duels in cinema history, which can only mean that Barry is rock hard with...
We get it, asswipe. Get on with it.
Okay, well I think we can at least agree that we've reached the end of any parallels between Willow and Lord of the Rings. Two elderly sorcerers battling it out in a tower? None of this would ever be replicated.
And Willow finally manages to best Bev Marvin by being a shitty magician.
Alcapel!
So, why does she get struck by lightning?
Yeah, the lightning was meant to destroy the baby, but Bad Midler is about as cunning as a villain from a Saturday morning cartoon. Or maybe pro wrestling.
I must perform the ritual that will exile the child's spirit into oblivion.
And no hero's journey can be complete without a return to the hero's ordinary world. The Willow himself is forever changed. Willow is welcomed with a proper Hobbit homecoming, and that's it. We all know the rest, folks. Warwick Davis went on to have a prosperous and respectable career as an A-lister, and they all lived happily ever after.
See that? The buckles on me shoes? Why, I'm a leprechaun.
Yeah, and now it's time for the Fly and me to enter Uncle Barry's pressure cooker so we can debate the current state of VFX in cinema.
Well, just for the record, this new segment idea sucks ass. I can tell Ellis came up with this one.
It doesn't suck, you pissant. It's dangerous and dramatic. I'm here to argue that practical effects are superior to the CGI shit shows that you and your TikTok generation are so fond of. Just look at this Phil Tippett dragon. Look at it. Oh, yes. It doesn't get any more badass than this. And how about these death dogs? Sure, I know they're just Rottweilers with masks on, but they've got a certain gravity to them. They look convincing, and they move like real animals rather than crappy wireframe animations.
Yeah, but look at this matte painting of a castle, Barry. You honestly gonna claim that this shot holds up today?
Bleh. Touché, asswipe. But even you have to admit that these action shots from Willow are a hell of a lot better than the crap action scenes they're cranking out on their MacBooks nowadays.
Yeah, Barry, but you've got the nostalgic brain rot even worse than our viewers. Jesus. Hey, are your ears popping? Feels like I'm on fire from the inside out. Anyway, have you looked closely at this scene? I mean, check out the Halloween mask on Stuntman Willow during the sled scene. What the f*** is even that? Is this shitty mask strapped to an actual stuntman, or did Ron Howard pick up a tiny mannequin from Kmart? They couldn't try to match Warwick Davis's skin tone a little better than piss yellow? He looks like Tom Cruise from Vanilla Sky.
Oh, God, so now you're gonna argue that these CGI wankfests are always superior to the classics. I bet your favorite movie is Ready Player One.
No, Barry. Oh, God damn, it's getting hot in here. Anyway, this cannot be good for your sucky-ass malfunctioning heart. Anyway, this whole CGI versus practical debate is a false dichotomy for morons to quibble over. The real answer to this question is that far more often than not, CGI and practical effects are equally inadequate. Stop motion is laughable at this point, but so are the terrible CGI effects that showed up in the early era.
What a surprise! Yet again, the fly rides the fence and cowers behind a lazy dialectic.
Listen to me, you frumpy-faced bag of milk. In order to sell the special effects to the audience, you have to fully sell the fictional world. And that's why Jurassic Park is still so badass.
Hey! Yes! Why the hell haven't we reviewed Jurassic Park?
Because we love it too much. We think it's a masterpiece and we're probably incapable of poking fun at it. God damn, it's hot in here, Barry.
I hate you, Fly.
I hate you, Barry.
And that's why we call this the pressure cook. God damn it! Am I bleeding?